Hello and welcome to the Machinist News Network. I'm Deirdre Kanievsky. In the 1930s, America was in trouble and in the midst of an unprecedented depression. Then President Franklin D. Roosevelt stepped in with a plan called the New Deal. And from there, history was made. Many remember the success of that program, and one very unique group in particular is looking to see if that plan may work again. Just a few blocks from the Capitol, at the Willard Hotel in D.C., history is repeating itself. Well, sort of. This group is not looking at FDR's New Deal, but rather looking towards a new Deal for the future.
Well, we're here today because this spring marks the 75th anniversary of the inauguration of FDR as president and the birth of the New Deal. And the New Deal, of course, being the most significant period of economic and social reform in American history. So it is one of the most important events of the 20th century.
And what makes this group even more unique is that most of the people here are young adults in their 20s, which makes sense since they all belong to a group called the Roosevelt Institution, the only national student think tank.
In general, a think tank is an institute that does the work that government can't do effectively, which is do long-term planning and long-term policy analysis. Government is so frenetic. There's so many demands on their time. They're always reacting and responding. There's very little time for kind of longer vision.
That's where the Roosevelt Institution can help. Spread throughout the country at more than 70 campuses, this group uses college research facilities and its academics and experts to come up with new, refreshing public policy for those who could use the help.
You know, while the federal government has 30 think tanks, 100 think tanks working for it, you know, New Haven's town council, Athens, Georgia's town council doesn't have research support. So our students provide a sort of think tank at the local and state level to provide the research, provide the data, provide the analysis that local governments really lack.
And believe me, these aren't just self-serving projects, such as how to make college campuses greener. These are issues that touch all Americans.
We testified in Wisconsin on healthcare legislation. Wisconsin almost passed Healthy Wisconsin, which was a major healthcare reform. It narrowly failed, but we're hopeful it'll get passed next year. We testified to their committee on aging about elderly healthcare. We've done energy legislation in Florida and California, talking about interstate carbon trading among cities.
A Gulf Coast Civic Works project. So students have been incredibly involved in rehabilitation of the post-Katrina Gulf. They've gone to their own service trips, done research. University of Michigan did a huge amount of research. Our Roosevelt chapter there did a huge amount of research on post-Katrina, revitalization. And now I was contacted by a professor out at San Jose State University who has worked with our students and drafted a national legislation to have a Gulf Coast Civic Works project.
Cleaning up the Gulf Coast is a project that seems to mirror FDR's Public Works program, and that's not going unnoticed. It's a great example of bringing together the past and the future of FDR's New Deal.
It's the perfect legislation for us because it involves our students who have done research, it involves students nationwide, and it's just completely in accordance with the ideals of Franklin Roosevelt.
The students here say it's one thing to talk about it and quite another to do something about it. That is one of the guiding principles of the Roosevelt Institution.
I know in high school I worked on a lot of campaigns, and it was like, okay, show up, go door knocking, make some phone calls, thanks, bye. Like, you weren't making any sort of substantive contribution, and I think a lot of students get frustrated by that, and this is a good way to get past that.
This dedication and flurry of ideas brings people like U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro to the institution's yearly meeting. Even the Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt Institute in New York have signed on to become partners with this group of young policymakers.
Well, I think they should care because I think Franklin Roosevelt built the house that we live in. We've been remodeling the house for years, but we haven't torn this house down yet. He really created the economic structure which allowed capitalism to flourish.
They want to help make sure these soon-to-be scholars and experts are a huge part of the present and the future.
By not getting involved in this, you're basically consenting tacitly to a system that is going to fail you in the future. So at least come here and think about it.
It was a really cool opportunity to do real work more than just basic. I mean, on the Hill, a lot of time, you get you make copies and staple things, and so it was an opportunity to do some substantive work.
I mean, I think I want to stay involved in politics in some capacity. I think the issues that are coming down the pipeline for our country are too important to ignore.
Right now, the Roosevelt Institution has more than 7,000 members nationwide, but that number could swell substantially as the group is planning to start focusing on international affairs in the near future. You can find their website at rooseveltinstitution.org, or you can log on to our site at goiem.org. Thanks for watching.